week, ready to roll live in Los Angeles. It's The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening or watching. Thanks for making us part of your day. J-Mac, a lot of things going on today. Danny Parkins checks in later this hour on the Chicago Bears. I know they won. It was ugly. I think they're getting blown out in Houston. Joel Klatt next hour. Mark Sanchez stops by. I was sitting there last night, and they no games last night. I watched a little debate.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, Colin.
Don't ever debate against the former prosecutor. That's all I'm going to say. Don't do that. So I was thinking about this, about a lot of people are afraid of being alone. And that, to me, there's always been a big difference between lonely, that's not great, and being alone. I'm alone all the time, and I like it. So Minnesota, Sam Darnold was great, but so was their defense. And Jonathan Grenard was talking about Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. 2 picks, 50% completions, horrible passer rating at 44.3. And he said, we felt bad for him. The Vikings defense, guys like, we felt bad for him. And I would rather have no quarterback for a year and be seeking one than have an overcompensated quarterback and be stuck and trapped. I've said this before. I am claustrophobic professionally and personally. I don't like being trapped. I don't like being trapped. A lot of people don't like to be alone, and they stay in bad relationships. I'd rather, I'm lucky. But if you gave me the choice of hanging out by myself and in my thoughts or in a loveless relationship, it's real easy for me. And I think what happens when you're alone and when you try new things and move across the country and take a new job and you don't know how it's going to pan out, what you're saying is you don't trust yourself. Let's be honest about it. You don't trust yourself. The New York Giants don't trust themselves. John Mara doesn't trust his GM. That's what he's saying going with Daniel Jones. That, or he doesn't understand what good quarterback play is, and I don't believe that. The lesson today is don't fear the unknown. The unknown is exciting and fun. I've said every job I've ever taken I wasn't ready for. That's the fun of it. I had a friend years ago, she took a job at Google. She said she was lost for 6 months. I was like, yeah, that's the great part. But deep down, you trusted yourself. The Giants don't trust themselves. Daniel Jones, since he signed the contract, has a 65 passer rating. He's 1-6. He's awful. And they're still arguing. When you have no quarterback, there's absolute clarity. Uh-oh, we're all getting fired unless we get this right. That's an amazing place to be. The only place better to be in the NFL is we got Patrick Mahomes. We got Matt Stafford. We got Josh Allen. We got Lamar Jackson. We got Justin Herbert. We got Jalen Hurts. We got Dak. That's the best place you want to be, is having the guy. The second best place is we don't have him. We can get fired. It's on us. That's like being single. A bad quarterback, overcompensated quarterback, Cleveland, the New York Giants. What an awful place to be. Give New England credit. 3 years of Mac Jones, he got him to the playoffs. And they're like, now we don't think he's good enough, and we don't think he's the right guy or leader. See ya. Russell Wilson, Sean Payton. Russell wasn't the problem last year. It was Denver's defense. Sean Payton's like, yeah, it's not going to work long term. Boom. And they got their guy. San Francisco, Garoppolo gets to a Super Bowl. So, I know, but there's certain things he can't do. We're going to move off him. Trey Lance. Yeah, we're going to move off that too. The offensive coaches, Goff to Stafford, the offensive coaches in this league trust themselves. But a lot of the owners don't trust their GMs. A lot of the GMs don't trust their scouts. If you're basically in a Cleveland relationship now, get out of Deshaun Watson's contract. Deal with it. Go find the next guy. It's a mess. Go look at the great offensive coaches. They're not afraid to be alone. They're not afraid to not have the guy. I mean, it's just like if you're in a 6-year relationship with somebody, you're 6 years, you're in a relationship, and a friend asks you, you think he's the one or she's the one? And your answer is, Well, I really like her dad. I mean, we just leased a car. We have a dog together. Time to draft a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Time to get a new quarterback. That's not the answer. Fear is clarity. No quarterback is clarity. Everybody in the building knows. Get it right or we're all fired. Bet on yourself. The Giants are afraid to do that. Speaking of New York, yesterday I thought to myself, boy, was I pessimistic. Boy, was I negative. And that's not who I am. I am known in this building as glass half full Colin. And I thought, there's got to be another way to look at the Jets. And then Robert Saleh, their coach, said this yesterday.
Unfortunately, it does, because I think I know we're going to get the defense fixed. That is not a problem. If that's a problem, it's not a problem. And I know we're going to get a lot better from week 1 to week 2. We got a great opportunity this week against Tennessee on a short week.
And so I thought this morning, how about 5 positive things about the Jets? And there are 5. Number 1, San Francisco's a tough opener. I mean, outside of Andy Reid, is there another coach in the league that you wouldn't want to face in week 1 than Kyle Shanahan with 5 months to prepare? And we thought Christian McCaffrey out, Trent Williams holdout would soften things up. No, not really. San Francisco was a brutal opener. How about number 2? The Jets' O-line didn't rank highly on PFF, but it held up pretty well. Bosa didn't get a sack. I didn't think their O-line was a problem. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was dominating like the Lions' O-line in overtime, but I thought it was fine, and the Niners have a better than average front 7. How about number 3? This loss and the way it happened should propel the owner to get out the checkbook and sign Hassan Reddick. Like they needed a more consistent pass rush. Brock Purdy had too much time. How about number 4? Aaron Rodgers is not as athletic as he once was, but he still throws a beautiful ball. When he had time to throw, it comes out like Marino. It's beautiful. He was the 4th highest graded passer week 1. I'd like to duly note that Sam Darnold was number 2, but Aaron was 4, and it looked pretty. He always looks pretty. He's going to get more comfortable. I mean, he's not very good in week 1 anyway. He's like 1-4 in his last 5 week 1s. He's kind of distracted in the offseason, does his own thing. So Aaron's never been great in recent years. Once he got paid the big money, he does his own thing in the summer. I'm okay with that. Burrow's not good in week 1 either. I think he's great. And number 5 is getting blown out in week 1 is not gloom and doom. The last 4 years, a team that got blown out in week 1 made the playoffs. I mean, Kansas City didn't get blown out, but Kansas City lost week 1 at home last year to Detroit and then won the Super Bowl. So Julian Edelman yesterday on our show said, let's just pump the brakes on the doom and gloom for New York.
They played the defending NFC Championship team against the 49ers, a team that has continuity, that's played with each other for multiple years now. We can't just expect the Jets, who were a 7-win team last year, to go out there and compete with like one of the best teams in the league. And Aaron Rodgers, he's smart enough to learn what he has to do to be productive. That was his first game with live action bullets. So like, I'm pumping the brakes on the whole thing.
Yeah. I feel better about myself today. I don't want to be like a negative guy, spraying the negative aerosol over the crop week 1. That's not who I am. Did I mention that Sam Darnold had the 2nd highest passer rating? That may have slipped by. I just want to make sure everybody realizes Sam Darnold was the 2nd highest rated passer. There's a lot of positive vibes. By the way, the Vikings schedule gets much tougher. The Jets schedule gets much easier. So I do think right now, if I had to make my 2 favorite bets of week 2, one of them is Jets at Tennessee -4. I think the defense will play with its hair on fire. It was completely embarrassed. Robert Saleh confidently said that's not going to be the problem. Will Levis is not going to succeed. Jets win comfortably in week 2. Vikings, meanwhile, schedule gets much more difficult in the next 4 to 5 weeks. Probably pull back a bit. So, J-Mac, there it is. Yesterday, as I saw you leaving the building, I saw a shadow cast over you, a pall over you, and I wanted to lift you up because that's not how we want to start the season, with negativity.
Fine. It's an L. We took it. We're on to Tennessee. We're moving on. Not a big deal. I think you're overblowing it a little bit. I think the Jets, didn't look great against a juggernaut, as Edelman said. But can I go back to the Vikings 49ers real quick for a sec?
Yeah.
Didn't they play last year?
They did.
Who won that game?
Wasn't it close?
Vikings won. I don't see why we're